It looks like Jim Jones just used comedian Mike Epps to slander Max B. If you've been out the loop, recently Jim Jones did his Artist to Artist podcast and it featured Mike Epps. On one segment in particular, Mike Epps spoke about how people who do long bids in jail and come home should never be celebrated because they are losers. Jim Jones actually agreed with this, and this happens just like a week after Max B just came home. But oddly enough, not too long ago, Jim Jones celebrated when Mel Murder, his little homie, just came home and he gifted him a 93 gang chain. Jim Jones is being a hypocrite because he wants to see Max B go down. Is Jim Jones using other people to target Max B so he doesn't look like a hater? And does Mike Epps have a problem with Max B?
Sipping slow, yakking the act, thinking I'm there.
Oh, champ. Run up these likes, run up these likes, run up these likes. Make sure you hit the hype button as well because the hype button helps the channel in a big way. So if you got hype points, we need that. I'm just saying. But look, it appears that Jim Jones is using people to diss Max B. Max B just came home and has been getting a slew of celebrations from everywhere. Everyone's been supporting Max B. Everybody is excited that the wave is back in these streets, but Jim Jones not so much. Don't forget that before Max B got locked up, that he was doing incredible, disrespectful things towards Jim Jones just to get out of his Bird Gang contract. He created the narrative that he slept with Jim Jones' girlfriend Chrissy. He also went as far as to say that he would delete, and I mean delete, Jim Jones' son Poetik, who was 10 years old at the time, in a very nasty diss record. Now, saying you're gonna delete someone's son is absolutely crazy. I mean, the lyrics went, my fofo gonna make sure that Poetik don't grow. Baby, I'm a Don. Very catchy record, very fire record, but Jim Jones will never ever forgive Max B for making that song or for saying that he slept with his girlfriend. So since Max B has come home, Jim Jones has been very salty, but he's also been incredibly quiet because people that he's close to, he wanted to make sure were not, and I mean not participating in anything that had anything to do with Max B coming home or celebrating Max B for that matter. So something that happened off the radar that nobody's really been paying attention to is this artist to artist interview with comedian Mike Epps. And Mike Epps went on Jim's podcast and he was just going crazy talking about people who come home from a long stint in jail to be celebrated. He says that they are losers and that they should never be celebrated because they don't do anything for society and that they need to teach the kids, which is pretty random to talk about right after Max B just came home. Mind you, this interview took place just 3 days for me doing this video, by the way, just so y'all very clear on what's going on. But I think that Jim Jones orchestrated this entire segment in this podcast because he wanted someone else to attack Max B so he doesn't look like a hater right now. Jim Jones is smart enough to know the temperature right now. He knows he's not very liked, especially after the things that he said about his legacy or his catalog being better than Nas, who is a very beloved MC who everyone pretty much loves and knows worldwide. And now Max B has come home and everyone knows that beef that him and Max had and how bad it actually was. So Jim Jones isn't trying to get slandered or made fun of any further than he already has and will use other people to try and slander Max, and Mike Epps, I believe, was the perfect candidate to do so. So as Jim says absolutely nothing and nods his head to everything that Mike Epps is saying, it just went viral out of absolutely nowhere today on the internet, on social media. And here's what Mike Epps actually had to say when it came to talking about people who come home from prison after a long bid.
That trauma is serious.
For black men, all these niggas is gangsters running around talking this street shit. Straight trauma, nigga.
Went through a lot.
Been through hell, nigga.
100%.
You get them niggas will cry, be on the side of the building crying they heart out. You know, because you know, and that's what they do for our youth. We have to start targeting and gearing, celebrating those journeys. Those are the wrong journeys to celebrate, young men. There's no reward for coming home after 30 years. You don't get no care package, nigga. You are a failure. Get your ass out here and help these kids, nigga. Pay that back forward. You see what I'm saying? That's the reward. I got niggas all the time come straight home. If I don't do what they want me to do for them, I'm a sellout. I'm a sucker ass nigga.
Right.
I done did the whole bit with them. I done been to Walmart 100 times, Jay paying and meeting guards, doing all kind of shit I ain't supposed to be doing fucking with you, nigga. But
Soon as you say no one time,
they done forgot about the other 99 times you said yes. You know?
that's the cold thing.
I got a buddy right now, man, you know, hurt my feelings that he sends all these different messages out saying, I mean, I done been there for this nigga 100 times. You know, 100 times, man. And he sends, every time I see somebody, they saying he's saying the. So I start telling the motherfuckers who tell me that, what did you say, nigga, when he told you?
It's funny that Mike Epps would say this, especially after we know that Jim Jones just welcomed home and celebrated Mel Murder, who is his little homie, who was on Bird Gang as well, with Max B and Stack Bundles, as well as others. He celebrated him. He gave him a chain and everything. He gave him a welcome home. And now he's agreeing with what Mike Epps is saying about people not deserving celebration when they come home. So it looks like Jim Jones is an incredible hypocrite. As long as it goes against Max B, I'm pretty sure he doesn't care. But for some reason, I think that Jim Jones is purposefully doing this to try to make Max B look crazy. But we do have to respect that at least Jim Jones isn't running with the rat narrative that people like Whack 100 and other people are trying to paint right now, because clearly that's not working, right? Calling him a rat is just not cool and really is against street protocol. So Jim Jones isn't running with that narrative. However, he will support any type of slander that goes towards Max B, regardless of the situation. Jim is trying his best to not even engage with any type of Max B talks, but I believe that people who are around Jim are really trying to just do stuff. They're trying to take shots at Max B. Jim Jones wants to target Max B. It's pretty simple. I mean, he's not going to say anything, but if he gets enough people to rally against Max B, then maybe it would create a certain situation where people can go against Max B to some degree. Jim is never going to forgive Max for things that he did, especially when it came to trying to embarrass him, making it seem like he thrashed his woman, when he really didn't do it. It was just a narrative that Max B was using to disrespect Jim and get out of his Bird Gang contract because he didn't like how things were going at Bird Gang. And especially saying you're gonna terminate the man's son. That's just a whole different level of Max B. You might want to watch out, because you never know what Jim plans on doing after years of you being incarcerated and him holding these grudges. There's really no telling what can happen in the future. And again, we don't wish for anything bad, but when you're talking about someone's kid in such a way, you just gotta expect the worst of the worst. Now, truth be told, as much as people don't want to admit it, and I keep seeing it online, people want to see a feud between Jim Jones and Max B. We already seen what happened with previous battles that happened last year and of recent. So people now are looking to see if Max B is gonna diss Jim and etc. And that's what a lot of people want to see right now. Every time something about Max B comes up, all I see is people saying, hey, I know Jimmy is sour right now. I know he's mad. I know he's somewhere curled up crying somewhere. This is what people are saying. People are very invested and want to see Jimmy and Max B do some type of back and forth or some type of drama to transpire. Truth be told, If Max B really wants to go insanely viral, then all he has to do is say something crazy about Jim Jones. But Max B, while he was incarcerated, already said that he doesn't have anything against Jim. He forgives Jim, and that whole beef is finished. Or is it? At this point in time, this is a very crazy battlefield in the hip-hop space right now. Everybody's looking for smoke, man. It's very unhinged. The people are bloodthirsty. They want to see drama. They want to see toxicity. This is what they want to see. And people might not want to accept that fact, but this is just where we're at right now. Hip-hop is in a very weird space where people are very much curious and want drama to transpire. This is just where we're at, man. Listen, we seeing all these dramas between Krishan Rock and Blueface and all these people, man. This is what sells. This is what drives traffic. This is what gets the views. They want to see madness, and so they want to see Max B versus Jim Jones in any way, shape, or form. They don't care if it's a battle. They don't care if it's podcast slander, the podcast slander. They want something to happen. Now, will something happen is the real question. Will something end up happening between Max B and Jim Jones just because the people wanted to? Where is this gonna go? We already know the tensions are pretty deep there. We already know how Jim Jones feels about Max. We know. Alright, Max B hasn't really said anything about Jimmy or anything as of late, but will he is the question. Will he be driven to do these things? Will he be forced to do these things? We know that Jim Jones got a problem with Mace and Camron and people who are all cool with Max B outside of Dave East, who has a relationship with both Max B and Jim Jones. Again, the question is, will there be some type of altercation, some type of drama fueled nonsense that will take place with Max and Jimmy right about now? What's gonna happen? What's next? Listen, man, I want y'all to let me know how y'all feel about all this madness in the comment section. Is there gonna be some drama ensuing very soon? Listen, I want y'all to let me know how y'all feel in that comment section, man. Also, I need y'all to hit that hype button because the hype button is incredibly important to the channel, man. Hit the like, share the video. Also, subscribe to the main second channel known as Big Gotham, which is a fire channel with nearly 1,000 subscribers, as well as the main Discord, which is called Big Gotham, with nearly 1,000 users because it's a lit Discord, plus the main Twitter community, which is also known as Showface News. Listen, all of those links are going to be in the pinned comment section, okay? But one more thing before we get all the way up out of here. You ready, gang? It's the man, the one and only New York man, F Mom Donnie, and you're rocking with the town favorite Showface News. It's Big Gotham, and you already know it's the town versus everybody at all times. Hit that like, share the video. I'm about to here, gang. Salutes.